So we have now entered the final speed round of visioning. And so I would ask you, to each of you, and I'll call on you, to pick a year, or rather a duration, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 25 years from now, I hope the Encore movement is. And think of that as just a framework for your final remarks. Erwin, I'll start with you.
So we often mention 2030, the year in which the boomers will be at the traditional age of retirement, 65, when 1 out of every 5 Americans will be age 65 or older. I'm not going to choose 2030. I'm going to choose 2020, the year when among children born in the US, not immigrants, but born in the US, there'll be no racial or ethnic majority. So we are entering 2 huge demographic changes in the US, and they're happening simultaneously. And I think one comment alluded to is right now we're asking ourselves, can we pay for older adults and children, as if we couldn't do both. I think at 2020, I think what you're going to see is, because right now children don't vote, and sometimes people feel like children get shortchanged, you'll see that the older adults and the people who are working are going to start looking more different. And unless we create these intergenerational contracts where it's not us versus them, it's not a question of whether we as a society should pay for children. People are going to start asking, should we as a society be paying for older adults? I think we can solve that right now by saying it's not us versus them. There's win-win options. And that's what we have to build for today.
Chris?
So by 2020, I hope that we have a retirement system and a healthcare system that are both universal and that are based on, and I think that we will, and that are based on a notion that if you have universal healthcare and you have universal retirement, then everything we're talking about becomes practical and becomes the norm. And this whole conversation about the dire demographics of aging and how this is going to sink the economy and we're going to become bankrupt like Greece, no one is actually going to say that again. Okay, that's a hope.
You know, one of our visions at Encore is that an Encore phase of life for the greater good, for giving back to future generations, becomes a norm in this country and in the world. And so I guess a concrete version of that vision would be, I would like to see a question on the common application for college. What is your Encore career going to be?
I hope it's not an issue, to be honest. I hope that we are just doing the right thing by this time and that the system is working so that people who want to have impact have an opportunity to have impact, and that people have secure financial retirement and that they're healthy in their old age, and that, you know, as a society, we're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Isabel?
Well, I'm going to roll right off of this. She gave me my cue, because my vision, and given what you said, I might have to push it back a few years. Maybe I'll make it 2022 or something like that.
I'll go with that.
Okay.
I'll go with that. That's fine.
So in 2022, we've sort of put Encore out of business because the humanity we should be practicing to each other in this country as a best practice, as a model for the rest of the world, will be engaging from the time we are born to the time we die, and we don't need any special class of people to be saving us. Our humanity will rise above, and this goes back to what you're talking about, Amber. It really is about, we've risen above race, class, and culture. We are working together as a population that recognizes its responsibilities to each other as human beings, and we do, each of us, the best we can to be part of the solution.